Hi, my name is Jason Schlafstein. I'm the producing artistic director of Flying V Theater, your friendly neighborhood indie theater. I'm here at Joe's Movement Emporium as part of the Next Look series, and I hope to see you this Thursday, November 17th at 7 p.m. for our sneak preview of It's the Rest of the World That Looks So Small, a theatrical review of Jonathan Coulton.
So why Jonathan Coulton?
At its core, Jonathan Coulton's music is sort of a great example in music of the core Flying V aesthetic. Everything that Flying V does ends up being what I like to call the intersection of the high concept and the intimate moment. So everything is this real personal, very existential or relationship-based question that we do set against a really high concept backdrop, and all of his music is similar. So you have stories of these sort of existential dilemmas about not fitting into the world or not liking yourself or those other sort of really personal explorations, but they're sea monsters or they're zombies or they're robots. So knowing that he's tackling the same kind of material that we are on a very singer-songwriter level, we're just looking now to expand and explode that work to a three-dimensional place and do it theatrically. It actually works really well as a linkage between him and us. In terms of why Jonathan Coulton, how we got here, we were working on this show called You or Whatever I Can Get, which was an original musical that Flying V did and that I co-wrote and directed along with my co-director on this piece, Vaughn Irving. And as part of that process, we were bringing in musical influences, different kinds of songs or artists that each of the 6 people who were working on it, because that show was created by 4 actors and a music director and myself who all co-wrote it together.
Wow.
As part of that process, we all
Wait, like all 6 of you co-wrote it together?
Yeah, and it was like a writer's room.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was a different kind of process for that one. So instead of coming in with a story we knew we wanted to tell, we had some general themes, and then we just created a list of different life concepts that we wanted to kind of explore about this sort of anxiety of dating and relationships in your late 20s and early 30s. So there were songs called Last Sober Guy at the Party, or I'm 30, I'm gonna die alone. And then from there, we created these character arcs and then built a story around all of those different life events that we wanted to include. But while we were doing that, Vaughn brought in Jonathan Coulton music as part of his influences. And so we were listening to it, and I made an offhand joke. I was like, are you sure you don't want to just do
the entire show,
yeah,
right?
just do Jonathan Coulton. He was like, no, I want to write a musical. And we did, and we won awards. It was great.
Yes.
But then a couple months later, he was like, actually, I do just want to do this Jonathan Coulton thing.
Right.
So we sat down together, and he played me a whole bunch of songs that I'd actually never heard of Jonathan Coulton before. And he curated a Spotify playlist, and we sat down, we just took about an hour and jotted down notes. We had so many ideas that we were like, let's do this. Let's actually
make it happen.
We got the rights and talked to his people, and now we're here.
Now you're here. So what inspired you to apply for the Next Look residency? How'd you find out about it?
How did I find out about it? That's a really good question. I think I saw it online. I think I got an email. I'm a University of Maryland graduate.
Nice.
So I get all the Clarice emails, and I'm pretty sure that that's how I found out about it. Our company has sort of 3 pillars that we're kind of built on. There's our production, there's our infrastructure, that's the actual company itself, you know, our business aspects, but so much of what we do is development of new and original work. 90% of the work that we do is self-created, and I'm always looking for new methods and models to actually support the development part with more resources. And going forward for Flying V, that's more and more a part of what I want to be adding to our budget and to the way that we structure all of our creating, is not just to think about the final product, but how we can support our artists as we build it. So seeing a residency like this, where we had a week's worth of time that was supported both in terms of the space and with resources and financially, to be able to actually ask all of our artists, everyone here took off a week of work or a freelance, and we're able to take an entire week,
That's
8
huge.
to 10 hours a day, just working on this project. And what doing that actually ended up doing is that we have a slate. So we have like this list of projects that are all various stages of development. And depending on where things are, we pick the next season on what's going to be done. And so because we got this residency and because we're doing this show, we then decided to do this as a full production next year in a way that the show might not have existed for another couple years, but because this was the right piece for this particular residency, because this residency ended up happening, because we're getting so much work done, now it feels like there's momentum and we're going to go ahead and use this as a launching point for a full production in fall 2017.
That's huge. So can you tell me the name of one of the songs that we'll be hearing?
Sure, there's I'm Your Moon, which is what the whole show is based off of.
Okay. I'm Your Moon is the central theme.
It's The Rest of the World That Looks So Small is the title of the show, and that comes from that song.
I'm Your Moon.
One of the reasons we're doing the residency with regards to the audience engagement is to get a sense thematically of what the audience sees and gets together. But what I've noticed, not to be a spoiler alert, but like particularly with the 4 songs that we chose, there's a real kind of linking themology of social ostracization and the feeling of being an outsider and somehow dealing with that in positive or negative ways and how you do or don't find comfort in yourself and others. I think particularly in our climate right now, culturally, that feeling of being an outsider or not feeling like you're part of the dominant culture.
Or being other.
Or being othered yourself, that whole is very rife right now, and so finding very personal ways into that topic is really exciting to me, and using this sort of high concept imagery and real pop culture kind of fables to tell those stories is what's exciting to me.
Wonderful.
So the I'm Your Moon is about Pluto's moon singing to Pluto after Pluto has been told it's not a planet any longer and has been sort of exorcised from the solar system. Exactly.
So sad.
And it's Pluto's moon basically saying, I'm still here.
I'm still your moon.
I'm still your moon.
Even though you're a moon.
Even though you're a moon. You don't have to see the story that we get to it, but
okay.
So like the journey is Pluto's recognition of who has really been there for Pluto all along.
Right. So it was for our Mount Rainier audience.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of ages here. We've got from little kids to 65-year-olds to teenagers.
Yeah.
Are they all going to be able to get something out of this show?
Yeah, I think so. Everything that in this show is, I think, all ages appropriate. He does have a couple songs that are not, that might end up being in the full production.
Okay.
But that, we did not put that one in. Now I'm glad that
That's
we
good.
didn't.
That's good.
Yeah. There's one about an outdoor lovemaking session.
Oh.
That might find its way in the full production with animal puppets. But yeah, I think that everything that Flying V does is meant to make people want to live life more. Our whole aesthetic is built around the idea that life is a limited time opportunity and we take it for granted, and all of our work is meant to kind of inspire you to go out and have an adventure of your own. So I think there's a sense of childlike wonder to everything we do, and the adult part of it is the level of precision in our work that we take seriously. Right. But the perspective always, I think, has a youthful feel, and to that end, I think that people of all ages. We talk very much about that we're not a company that really focuses on demographics. We focus on psychographics. And
psychographics.
Yeah, and taste communities. So it's more about the kind of things that you like than how you look, or where you came from. And sometimes there's correlations there, but really, if you're interested in the same kind of things that we are, if you're
going to enjoy it.
Exactly. If you're into indie music and science fiction and comic books,
then this is the place for you.
This is the place for you.
DC or Marvel?
That's a complicated question for me right now.
All right, got
it. But yeah, traditionally DC. I love the DC universe. I love Marvel too. I've loved the X-Men forever, but I've loved the tapestry of the DC universe because when DC was being started as a company, it actually wasn't one company. Right. It was a series of independent companies that all came together due to being bought. And long story made short, what that led to was a universe that felt like anything could happen because it wasn't built to all be based out of one place or one creator's mind in the way that Marvel was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. Eventually, with things like the New 52, they've been so self-conscious of not being Marvel that they've tried to be something that they're not, and the last 10 years or so have really led to a decrease in quality and a loss of individual identity for that company, whereas Marvel has continued to reinvest in itself and what makes it special.
So basically Flying V has that DC mentality with lots of different creators and anything can happen in a whole universe.
Yeah, before the New 52, so I guess as long as we don't go for a weird reboot.
Speaking of childlike wonder,
let's
pull some of this out here.
Sure thing. We've got our pair of goggles. Now you are planet Earth.
Does it go with the bionic goggles?
No,
It's
those
not
are two
meant to
totally
go.
different pieces.
All right,
but
I'll give those back to you. You
Okay.
can hold on to this. Or I can put them in here. I don't have lice. All right. What am I wearing?
You're wearing the Earth. You are the Earth now. You are
I am the Earth.
at a middle school dance.
At the middle school dance?
All the planets are at a middle school
Oh,
dance.
that brings me back to having a unibrow and braces and being really, really ugly.
You've come very far.
feeling.
Then.
I'm the Earth at a middle school dance.
You
All right,
are.
and what's going on here?
That's a whale.
This is a whale.
That's a whale.
What's the role the whale has?
The whale. I don't want to spoil what happens to the whale because the
Okay.
whale doesn't. It's not good.
Okay, so to be determined.
I would just say it involves this as well, which is
Oh.
a tentacle.
Oh, it's a tentacle.
So somehow the whale and the tentacle meet.
Find out. Oh my god. Okay, how
so
about
you can see we're using a lot of puppets in this. And
Got
we do a lot
it.
of dance as well. So all of our work is very multidisciplinary.
puppets, dance,
Live music. The whole thing is all live
and
band.
then all live music,
All
and
live
this
music.
the LeVar Burton bionic.
Yeah. Straight up LeVar.
Straight up LeVar.
You were like ready.
Take
to,
a look.
You were
in a
ready to
butt.
host Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
Butterfly in the sky. She can
in-
fly thrice as high.
Thrice as high.
Take a look. It's in a book, but it's not.
Reading
It's on stage with Flying V.
Rainbow.
I am Jason Schlafstein with Flying V, and I'd like to invite you to the Next Look series presentation of Flying V's It's the Rest of the World That Looks So Small, a theatrical review of Jonathan Coulton. Thursday, November 17th, 7 p.m. Pay what you wish at the door.